Have you ever witnessed love so powerful that it bound three hearts together, only to break them apart forever? If I tell you a story today, it's not just about love, it's about choices, pain, and the kind of heartbreak that doesn't heal. Before we begin, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Kindness Stories so you never miss stories that touch your heart deeply. In a quiet little town outside of Denver, three sisters lived who looked so identical that people could hardly tell them apart. Their names were Emily, Evelyn, and Emma. Born as triplets, they shared the same golden hair, the same sparkling blue eyes, and the same laughter that could fill any room with light. But behind their shared beauty, they each carried a heart that beat differently, a soul that longed for something unique. Emily was the responsible one. She always sacrificed her desires to care for the family, the one who stayed up late at night helping their mother when she was sick, or tutoring neighborhood children for extra income. Evelyn, on the other hand, was fiery, bold, and always chasing dreams. She wanted to be a fashion designer and would stay up sketching dresses when everyone else was asleep. Emma was the quietest, the kindest, the one who loved poetry, music, and sitting by the window staring at the stars, dreaming of a love story written just for her. Their lives took a turn when a young man named Daniel moved into town. He wasn't just any man. Daniel carried with him a charm that came not from wealth or appearance alone, but from the way he treated people. He worked at a community center, helping troubled kids, teaching them soccer, and giving hope to the hopeless. His laugh was genuine, his words kind, and his heart seemed bigger than his chest could contain. Emily met him first. She was dropping off donated clothes at the community center when Daniel noticed her struggling with a heavy box. He rushed to help, smiling warmly, "Here, let me take that. You'll hurt yourself." For the first time, Emily felt seen, not as the caretaker, not as the older sister, but as a woman. Something inside her stirred, and she went home with his smile etched into her mind. A week later, Evelyn met Daniel by chance at a local art fair. He admired one of her sketches that she nervously displayed on a stand. "This is beautiful," he said with such sincerity that Evelyn's fiery heart softened instantly. She laughed nervously, feeling her cheeks heat up, and something in her told her this was fate, that maybe this was the man who believed in her dreams. Emma's turn came when she attended a poetry reading at the local library. Daniel happened to be there, too, sitting quietly in the corner. When Emma nervously read one of her poems aloud, her hands trembling, Daniel clapped the loudest. Afterward, he approached her gently and said, "Your words touched me. You have a gift." Emma felt her soul ignite, like someone had finally understood the hidden parts of her heart. None of them realized at first that all three were falling for the same man. None of them imagined their shared bond as sisters would soon be tested in ways they could never have prepared for. The days turned into weeks, and Daniel became a part of their world. Sometimes Emily would bake cookies just to bring them to the community center. Sometimes Evelyn would ask his opinion on her designs, and he would encourage her with words that lifted her higher than any compliment she'd ever received. Sometimes Emma would share her poems with him, and his eyes would glisten with quiet admiration. But love, even when it's pure, can be dangerous when it finds itself tangled in three hearts at once. Slowly, the sisters began to notice. Emily saw how Evelyn's face lit up when Daniel visited. Evelyn noticed Emma humming softly after her library encounters with him. Emma noticed how Emily blushed whenever his name was mentioned. They began to connect the dots, and soon the truth stood before them like a storm ready to break. One night, sitting around their shared dining table, the silence between them was louder than words. Finally, Evelyn broke it, slamming her hand down. "We can't all be in love with him. He has to choose." Emily's eyes filled with tears, but she said softly, "And what if he chooses none of us?" Emma whispered, her voice trembling, "Then at least we won't destroy each other." But deep inside, none of them believed they could walk away. They all carried a hope, that maybe, just maybe, Daniel's heart would beat for them alone. The day of truth came sooner than expected. Daniel, unaware of the storm brewing between the sisters, invited them all to a charity event at the community center. They stood side by side, their matching faces reflecting nervous hearts, as Daniel walked toward them, a choice already written in his eyes. And when he spoke, his decision fell like glass shattering against the floor. The night of the charity event should have been beautiful. Strings of golden lights hung across the courtyard, children's laughter echoed through the air, and the town gathered in unity. But for Emily, Evelyn, and Emma, the evening felt like the edge of a cliff, because tonight, Daniel would reveal his heart. Daniel walked to the stage to thank the donors and volunteers. His voice, steady and kind, spoke about hope, about kindness, about building a community where no one felt forgotten. But when his speech ended, he turned toward the sisters. His gaze lingered, his smile softened, and in that moment, they knew, he was about to choose. Emily's fingers dug into her dress as her heart pounded. Evelyn's fiery spirit burned, but fear flickered in her eyes. Emma's lips whispered silent prayers that love would finally find her. Daniel approached them, and the world seemed to blur. His voice was gentle, almost apologetic, as he spoke. "I never expected this. Meeting the three of you has been one of the greatest blessings of my life. But I can't deny what my heart already knows." His eyes shifted, then landed on one sister. "Emma, from the moment I heard your poem, I felt like you spoke the words I never knew how to say. You see me in ways I didn't even see myself. And I can't imagine my life without you." The air cracked open. Emily gasped, clutching the edge of her chair to steady herself. Evelyn's face went pale, her eyes wide with disbelief. And Emma, sweet, quiet Emma, stood frozen, her tears spilling down as her hands trembled. She hadn't expected it. She hadn't believed she would be the one. But Daniel had chosen her. The silence that followed was deafening. Emily forced a smile, whispering, "I'm happy for you," though her heart felt like it had been ripped apart. Evelyn didn't speak. She turned and walked away, her heels clicking like thunder against the pavement. And Emma, torn between joy and sorrow, looked at her sisters, realizing the cost of love had never been higher. That night marked the beginning of the end. Emily withdrew into herself, pouring her love into work, but her laughter dimmed. Evelyn grew colder, angrier, pushing both Emma and Daniel away. And Emma, though she had Daniel's love, carried guilt so heavy it nearly crushed her. Weeks turned into months, but the fracture between the sisters only widened. Emily eventually moved to another city for a new job, leaving behind the home where they once laughed together. Evelyn cut ties, chasing her dreams elsewhere, unwilling to forgive. Emma and Daniel tried to build a life, but the ghost of what had been lost haunted every step. One evening, Emma stood at the same window she had once sat by, staring at the stars. Daniel came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her. She whispered, "I have everything I ever dreamed of, but I've lost the people I loved first." Daniel kissed her forehead softly, but neither of them could deny the truth. His choice had given him love, but it had cost three sisters their bond. And some wounds never heal. So remember this, love is beautiful, but when it asks you to choose, it can break more than it builds. And if this story touched you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Kindness Stories, because sometimes, the hardest stories are the ones we need to hear most.